Today on r/entitled people, one neighbor, 3 meltdowns, a pool invasion, a stolen package, and a driveway showdown you'll have to hear to believe. Let's get into it.
Neighbors sending their relatives to my house to try to use my pool without my consent. The front of my driveway has a sign that reads, "Private property, no trespassing," as you pull up to the driveway. I have a fence up around my pool to keep out unwanted animals and intruders, with the only way in being a key to unlock the gate. I have security cameras on certain places of the house pointing toward the pool. Last summer, while I was away, my phone alerted me that my security camera had caught something. I checked the live footage, and it was 3 teens in their early teens and 1 adult trying to climb the fence to my pool. I have a tarp over my pool at all times, which can only be removed from a switch in my house. You'd think they'd see the tarp and leave. I immediately called the police, and they told me they'd take care of it. The 4 didn't even attempt to leave. They kept trying to climb the fence. I watched as the 4 were arrested. The day I got home, my neighbor, who must have been watching from my car, stormed over and started screaming at me. "My sister and her kids are going to have a criminal record now because of you." I said, "So that's who my cameras detected. You should know my sign in front of my house says private property, no trespassing." She said she'd see me in court when their court dates came up. The sister of the neighbor pleaded in court that it was a hot summer day and they wanted to cool down, so her sister insisted they go use my pool, but to ignore the sign that said private property because her sister and I are good friends. My neighbor and I are not good friends. I explained to the judges that I did not give consent for the neighbor to use my pool while I was gone. The judges saw all the evidence needed, especially the sign in my driveway saying no trespassing, and found the neighbor and her sister guilty of second-degree trespassing, which in my state carries the punishment of a $200 fine and 20 days in jail. The judge found the 2 nephews and niece guilty as well. My lawyers requested a restraining order, which was granted. The teen's lawyer tried to explain that the teens didn't know about the sign in my driveway, but the judge dismissed that because they willingly listened to their mother and aunt saying it was okay to trespass.
You ever meet someone who just doesn't understand what private property means? Like, the literal sign wasn't enough, so they thought the fence was just a friendly suggestion. I can't imagine thinking, yeah, that tarp over the pool means dive right in. Honestly, I'd have paid to see their faces when the cops showed up mid-climb. Chef's kiss. Actions meet consequences. And that neighbor screaming about her sister's criminal record? Maybe start by not sending your family to break the law. But oh, this isn't the last time she makes a scene. Next time, she aims even higher, and it's hilariously worse.
Entitled neighbor tries to claim my delivery package as theirs. I got home from work a little while ago and got a notification that my package was almost here. I went to wait for my delivery, and when I got there, the truck was already there. The driver knows me, and as I'm signing for my package, my entitled neighbor storms over, but keeps a distance and demands the package the delivery driver has. If you've read my past stories, this is the same neighbor who has a restraining order against her from me. She tried having her sister and her sister's kids trespass on my property, etc. She hasn't learned her lesson. The driver tells her that it's not her package and he can't give it to her. She continues to demand it, saying if she doesn't get it, she'll just storm over and grab it. I tell her if she takes another step forward, she's breaking the set number of how close the restraining order says she can get near me. She doesn't care and marches over, then screams, "Because of you, I'm separated from my husband and heading for divorce." I told her if she hadn't acted the way she's been acting toward me, her husband wouldn't be doing such a thing because he grew tired of her entitled behavior. She eventually went off back to her house. I got the delivery driver's name and number so they can prove they witnessed the neighbor breaking the restraining order. Then I called the police. The last thing I heard while being outside a few minutes ago was a loud scream of, "I didn't break any freaking restraining order." The next morning, I went down to my mailbox and the entitled neighbor's husband walked over. He's not on the restraining order. The loud scream she did was her yelling at the police. As a result, she got herself arrested for breaking the terms of the restraining order, assaulting an officer who said she was under arrest, and resisting arrest. She just tried to call him a few minutes earlier asking for bail, but he told her he's not paying for that. Several days after that, the wife has been sentenced to 1 year and 210 days in prison, with her receiving a year for assaulting the officer who said she was under arrest, 60 days for resisting arrest, and 150 days for breaking her restraining order. The judge also was told how her husband was seeking a divorce, and said the divorce would be handled after her jail sentence. Upon her release, she is to be transferred to her next of kin to stay there under ankle monitor until the divorce trial.
So after the pool fiasco, you'd think this Karen would learn her lesson, right? Nope. She decided to upgrade her crimes to package theft while under a restraining order. That's commitment to bad decisions. The "because of you I'm getting divorced" line had me wheezing. No, ma'am. That's on you and your entitlement, not Amazon Prime. And the ending? Straight up poetic justice. Arrested, sentenced, and her husband said, "I'm not paying your bail." That's the kind of closure you don't even get in TV dramas. But hang on. Just when you think this story's done, her family decides to carry on the legacy of chaos. You'll see.
Entitled, "Neighbor's Sister Blocked My Driveway This Afternoon." My kids got home from school today and found our driveway blocked by a car. They sent me a text saying a car was blocking the driveway. Immediately, I texted the photo to my neighbor, the husband of the woman I've posted about. The neighbor texted me back saying it was his soon-to-be ex-sister-in-law and that he was surprised she parked where she did. I asked him to tell her to move her car so my kids could get into our driveway, and mentioned that what she was doing was illegal parking. The neighbor said he'd tell her. After 10 minutes, she didn't show up, and I had no time for her games, so I called the non-emergency police line to report a car blocking my driveway. My son called me, saying the police had arrived, documented that the car was illegally parked, and called a tow truck. The second the car was hooked to the truck, there was a loud scream of, "Put my car down now!" The sister made her appearance. The police told her she was blocking access to the driveway and that her car was being towed. They even offered to give her a ride to where her car was being taken if she didn't have the fee to pay for its release. But the woman tried to stand in front of the truck, then tried getting into her car. The police stopped her and she fought back, resulting in her being charged with assaulting an officer and interfering with a tow. I could hear this entire thing unfold. My son had me on speaker. The car was taken by the tow truck and the woman was taken by the police to the station. Just to let everyone know, this woman is the sister of my now ex-neighbor who sent this same sister to trespass last year on my property to try to use my pool without my consent. The neighbor herself recently tried to take a package that was delivered to me, saying it was hers when it clearly wasn't. She also tried calling the town on my property to cut down trees that didn't need to be cut down.
Oh look, the sequel nobody asked for, featuring the sister who clearly inherited the same brain cell. Blocking someone's driveway, ignoring police orders, and then fighting an officer over a tow truck? Peak Karen behavior. I swear, this family treats jail like it's a loyalty program. Every visit earns another charge. At this point, I'd move just to see what happens next from a safe distance. But really, imagine being so bold you think the law doesn't apply to you. Twice! So, which moment was peak Karen for you? The pool, the package, or the driveway? Let me know in the comments. And that wraps up today's dose of Our Entitled People. Whew, some folks really think the world owes them everything, huh? If you enjoyed the madness, give this video a big thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you would have done. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and get ready for more outrageously entitled stories. See you in the next one. Bring popcorn.